weeks ago I bought and did a review of the Gtech AirRam vacuum cleaner, and I liked it so much I've gone and bought the other model in the Gtech range, the Gtech Multi. Now whereas the AirRam was just designed for doing floors, this one's designed for doing pretty much everything else. Now the box it came in was lighter and smaller than I was expecting, but everything is in here. The instructions are nice and clear, and you probably will need to refer to these on this one because there are a few little things that you need to know about when using it. But it's all nicely laid out and very easy to understand. Now I'll show you all the different tools and things that you get inside the box later on. Here's the charger for it. Of course this is a UK style charger, presumably you get the right one for your country if you got it from somewhere else. And here it is, nice looking little device, quite lightweight as well. I'll show you the stats for that later on. That's the lithium ion battery cell that goes on the bottom, just clicks in place like that. You don't need to take it off, but I was just showing you that in case you want to. It's got a nice rubberized handle here with a trigger switch under there. On the bottom we'll just have a look at the stats on that battery. It's 22 volt, 2000 milliamp hour lithium ion. Don't worry too much about the stats, it picks up fine. On the top we've got these two lights as you can see, and that shows you the battery charge. On the front we've got two white LEDs which light up the thing that you're vacuuming. I'll just switch the lights off so you can see how that works. It also helps with the lights on as well so you can see what's on the floor. Now the way that the vacuum works is one of these things where it spins around the centre bit. There's no bag of course, all that stuff's kind of gone the way of the dodo. I'll show you how the thing comes apart. First off, that's the bin where all the stuff goes in. The bottom pulls out and it all just drops on the floor like that. Don't worry, we've got a vacuum, we can pick that up. That bit comes off there, and that's where all the sort of fluff goes under that bit there, which you have to click in place. A little bit tricky one-handed like I'm doing it here. And then in the top we've got the filter. Again, you don't really need to take this out until the light lights up to tell you that it needs cleaning, but I'm taking it out now to show you. And that comes into two bits. You see it says top on the top of it there, and that's where all the kind of real fluffy stuff gets stuck on the filter there, which you can just get off with your finger, but you can also wash it, of course. It's a reusable filter. It's a little bit tricky getting it back into there. You have to line it up just right and click it in, but once you've got the knack you'll be able to do it very easily. And then the bin just clicks in place like that. And we'll just better pick this up before the missus comes home and asks me what the hell I'm doing. I'll show you the different tools that go on this vacuum cleaner now. First off, of course, we've got the one that it comes with, that brush thing there. You can see it's got a split in that brush, the top and bottom half, and there's a reason for that. I'll show you that in a minute, but that works fine. That's the sort of standard one. Now, another thing you can do with that, you can pull that away from the body with this extended hose, and that might be useful for getting it into funny cracks and things, maybe inside your car, under the chair, that kind of stuff. Now this is that one I showed you before. It's got those kind of velvety pads on the bottom. This is for doing floors, I suppose, but that's where the brush split comes in. You see it can go on top of the brush without the brush getting bent and having to remove the brush, which is great. And of course you can still extend it away from the body. So it's all very simple, easy to do. You're not having to take things off to put other things on. And then in the bottom here we've got another thing which is nice that it carries it around with it, and it's one of those jobs that's quite familiar to anyone with a vacuum that directs the air quite strongly so you can pick things right out of corners. Very useful those, especially again in sort of nooks and crannies and things. It just goes back in there. And then the other thing we've got is this extended arm. Now this is something that actually had to get sent separately. I'll talk about that later, but it is for this machine. They send it free of charge. I suppose you could use that if you wanted to vacuum your curtains, if you're one of those kind of people that thinks that that's important. It could also save you back a little bit if you're vacuuming the floor. It just gives you a little bit more reach. So it's definitely handy to have. It doesn't cost anything, so you might as well send off for it. As far as vacuuming on the stairs go, it's perfect for that, and the light helps as well. And this little tool gets right in the corners there. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of point of view thing. Somebody suggested this on my last video, so I thought I'd do it. It's a good idea actually. And of course being cordless means you can use it outside the house, like I'm using it in the car now, which did need a good vacuum. It had a lot of grit under that mat. Doing a good job there as well, makes it look good as new. Also useful if you're a labourer or somebody, electrician maybe, take it around to someone's house and clean up after yourself. Now there's the stats for the vacuum. You can see the weight there, 1.6 kilogram and a 30-minute run time off a full charge, but don't get too hung up over the volts and the milliamp hours, all that kind of stuff. People seem to think things won't pick up if they're battery powered. Well, trust me, this one picks up fine. Look at some of the stuff it got out of the carpet in my car. So if it picks everything up, doesn't matter what the stats are, it's doing a good job. If you pull the trigger halfway, you can see the lights on the top there will show you what kind of charge you've got left in your battery. Now you can charge it at any time, of course, with it being lithium ion. You don't have to wait for it to go to zero, and of course it won't discharge on its own either. Also, you can remove that battery if you can get it off there, and you can charge the battery separate from the vacuum cleaner. And you can get extra ones of those as well if you're quite flush. But, you know, don't have to. 30 minutes runtime, plenty for most people. Another thing you can send off for, this data cable, which plugs into the back here. The other end plugs into a Windows PC. The software's Windows only at the moment, but don't worry, Mac users, you probably don't need it. Here's all it can do, really. It can change the power of the vacuum between 3 different modes, but I don't know why you'd want to reduce the power down. And the other thing is you can tell how many calories you've burnt, how long you've been using it. I've got to say, if you're the kind of person that plugs your vacuum into your computer to see how many calories you burn, maybe you need a hobby. So it's really just a bit of a novelty, this stuff. I can't think that it's worth sending off for that data cable, unless perhaps you wanted to change those power modes, but I think that most people would be happy to use this in high power mode all the time. Now another thing you're supposed to send off for is the extension tube. The reason they'd want you to send off for it is so they can capture your details, presumably, and sell you more stuff. That's if you pick the box up in a store. As I bought mine online, they already had my details, and therefore they sent me the tube after I'd done my original order, which meant it turned up at the post office because I was at work and I had to go and make a special trip to pick it up, which was pretty inconvenient. It'd be much better if they just put that tube inside the box to start with. Now, if you want to get hold of one of these, the current UK price is £149. I bought mine direct from Gtech on their website, but I'd imagine they'll start showing up in stores soon and also elsewhere around the world because it's an excellent little vacuum cleaner. So that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.